So since we have some new people, you have to meet Cheeky. He's a cute little doggy. Mwah. 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 You gotta get used to her. Mwah. 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 This is her life. Mwah. If you're lucky, she'll yawn or something. Come on, yawn. She's a bit shy. New people. If you're lucky, she'll yawn. A couple of people noticed some things in the background. There are a few collectibles here and there. There's a new little fox painting. Inverted controls. There's Pedro Bear. There's a couple of games you might recognize. There's a couple of collector editions you might recognize. It's not completely finished yet. There's a few square slots still open that I'm still filling up. The flag is not up yet. There's going to be a few things up there. Moved in here not too long ago, but I'm still working on, getting it all decorated. As you guys know, we do live stream every Monday, anime reactions, which is why I call it Anime Monday. So, same time, same place. We have a Discord, links below, just scroll down. That's where we hang out when we're not live streaming. We vote on anime that we react to there on Discord. Reactions are uploaded to the reaction channel on YouTube. If you scroll down, that's always being, spammed in the chat as well by Nightbot. But if you scroll down, there is a reaction channel where you can catch reactions to anime that we've previously done. And if it's something that I can't upload to YouTube, it is already sitting on the Patreon, where I obviously edit and upload things during the week. Mwah. Mwah. You done, chicks? Yeah, she's not gonna yawn. She's like, nope. Yeah, no. She's like, nope. If you're curious about the older episodes, if you're curious about other series, either the reaction channel or Patreon, it's on one or the other, maybe even both if you're lucky. So, All right. Let's kick it off with the next episode. Let's continue. We're making good for time, so let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. We are up to episode 21 of Attack on Titan. I like seeing the streaming history of Kuma back there. There's a lot of history. There is a lot of history. All right, episode 21. Let's make sure that the audio is correct. Japanese. I haven't tried the English for Attack on Titan, but, everyone wanted subs, so let's do it. All right, let's kick it off. Episode 21. Wait, is this episode 21? It is. Do I need a recap every 5 minutes that they're on an expedition? Can you stop jerking me off and just finish me off already? Can we go? Why is that Titan so fat? I'm sorry, but this is what pisses me off about Attack on Titan. Here is our episode. This is the opening. Can I do this full screen? This is Attack on Titan. This here is the opening. Here. From 3 minutes to 4.5 minutes. The closing. From 22 minutes to 24 minutes. So you've effectively only got 22 minutes from 5 minutes actually to 22 minutes. You only have 16 minutes of anime per episode because they are milking the recap for 3 minutes an episode. I'm sorry, but I only get 16 minutes or 17 minutes per episode. I feel ripped off. I don't need to be told for 4 episodes that a mysterious Karen Titan appeared. This same recap has been shown twice. You know what? At this point, why don't I just watch the fucking recaps instead of the actual episode? Because they hardly did anything in the last one. All they did was, she was already caught the episode before that. They spoke for 10 minutes. They shot a bunch of more arrows at her. And then she cried out and escaped. That's all that happened. I mean, fuck me, right? Oh, sorry, they're going to get to that part in the next 2 minutes. My bad. So they've literally just summed up everything important that happened in the last episode. And yes, I'm reading all the comments. I'm just giving mods an opportunity to delete spoilers. But they've literally just summarized everything important that happened in the previous episode. Why am I watching the whole episode then? Yep, that was pretty much everything important that happened in the previous episode. Has anyone actually stitched together all the recaps from a season and just watched it that way? Because I get the feeling that you could do it that way and probably get 90% of what happens in the show. Just saying. Crazy thought. Let's skip the recap and the intro, saving 5 minutes per episode, and see how we go. Because I've never seen an anime do this. This is really milking it. they're really milking it. It's almost like they get paid by the episode. Just saying. I just want to see what happens to Karen. But they keep cucking me with the recaps, the openings, the closings and shit. I just want to see what happens. Don't worry, Kuma. Go gigantic rip up only happens on this season because the studio used that as a way to circumvent the small time frame they had to animate. Talking about milking, watch One Piece. Oh boy. Hopefully that's not the case in season 2. Fingers crossed, because if it is, I'm writing an angry letter. And by letter, I mean tweet. I mean, but like, a little bit like fitness or sex, the way you perform first time isn't exactly accurate of how you can perform with practice. So, I mean, sure, he was, tired and fell asleep the first time, but after a few dozen times, he'd be alright. Wait a minute, you just reminded me. Last week I fucking asked that girl that was doing the emotes what the fuck's going on. It's been a week and I haven't gotten a response. What the fuck? It's been more than a week and she hasn't even given me an update. Thanks for reminding me. After this, I'm going to double check with PayPal what the hell's going on. She's like, oh, I'll have it done in 2 weeks. 4 weeks later. So, can I have an update? He's like, yeah, I'm working on it. Can you show me? No, I can't. It's on my computer. Oh, okay. Where are you now? I'm at work. You're at work. Without your computer. Well, I go to the office to talk with people. You go to the office to talk with people amidst the global pandemic. Like, what the fuck? I mean, if you're gonna lie, at least convince me. Success? What? On what basis was that a success? Unless you were trying to kill off 90% of your squad. You haven't identified shit. You haven't gotten any intel or narrowed it down whatsoever. You literally got everyone to volunteer for the core and then took them out and killed them off. And then you're like, well, the number of people that the traitor could be has just been lowered. Yeah, because you killed off half your unit. That's not success. That's like the opposite of success. And it couldn't be because someone blocked the entrance and the armored titan wasn't there to break it open again. I mean, I'm just saying. Wait, so you had someone that came in during that time period 5 years ago, and they saw Eren transform, but you already knew you had a traitor in the area from 5 years ago, but now using that information, you've deduced that the traitor is aware that Eren could turn into a Titan. Wouldn't that be a given that you have a traitor and the traitor would know about Eren? Hence that you have a possible traitor in the unit because Eren's here? I mean, just saying. What you said wasn't as nearly as smart as you think it was. All you've pointed out is that they will know that Eren can transform into a Titan, which everyone in the entire capital city knows by now. So that's not extraordinary. Wait, so instead of fighting 5v1, you're all running, leaving yourselves vulnerable to be attacked. Okay, yeah, carry on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that's not good. Scatter! 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 And you're fucked. Well, she's now heading straight for the manager. Scatter! Ah, fuck it. The phrase you're looking for is death's ground. Fight the enemy on death's ground. Which is what a lot of officers back in the day used to do. They used to let their military be surrounded on all sides with no means of escape, and they would fight to the death. Because if you left an opening for the enemy to escape, they'll actually try to escape rather than fight to the death. Whereas if they're completely surrounded, they'll fight like their lives depend on it, because they do. Which is why one of the tactics is always to burn ships, so you can't retreat. Damn, Sun Tzu would be proud. Now is not the time. God damn it. This guy's literally threatening and was like, I'm gonna hurt myself. It's like, God fucking damn it. I'm dying here. Now is not the time to be Teletubby friends. You're literally in a life or death situation. Yes! Clever fox, I like it. Now, go for the... Okay, she's protecting it. Cut something else. Or keep running. You should be able to cut something else if you don't make screaming noises. Thank you! Thank you! Achilles tendon. Achilles tendon. Drop her down. Achilles tendon. Achilles tendon. Come on, fuck's sake. Good, now you can stop writing poems. Oh god, he's gonna turn around, isn't he? Ooh! They are literally stalling her, and he does a 180. And now it's Naruto running. Well, she dead. If this guy doesn't die... Ooh! Got roundhoused. Stop going toward it! See, now their sacrifice was completely useless. You son of a bitch. Watch, now he's gonna go berserk with no control. Watch, he's gonna get his ass kicked. As much as I like, doing the Tsuka Rush B, clearly she knows how to fight, and clearly he doesn't. So, he's about to get his butt kicked. Here comes the ass whooping. Survey Course Horse Part 1. The horses given to the Survey Course were selectively bred for the exclusive use. They measure between 160 centimeters tall and weigh between 400 to 500 kilograms. Their top speed range from 75 to 80 kilometers an hour, and they can maintain speeds of about 35 kilometers an hour. These horses are just about the only way to outrun Titans. It's not just about being calm, which it is, but the fact that she has experience fighting means she's going to be quicker instinctively. The cool thing about fighting is you can't think while you're fighting. If you think, you're too slow. Whereas if you're experienced, your body does the work for you. Your body naturally goes with the flow of the fight because it's part of your instincts. You've done it for long enough that you read the other person's body language and you act accordingly. You don't even think, and before you know it, you've already countered, or you've dodged it, or you've hit them, or you've done something. Eren is just like, fuck you, I'm gonna hit you. He's like Logan Paul fighting a professional boxer and going, rah! You're expelling all of your energy. Your muscles are tense. You are draining your energy. Hachan is screaming at me. Hachan, close my door. You hear me so clearly because I articulate my words. I didn't perform in NIDA theater for nothing.
Because you're so loud.
No, because I know how to project my voice. There's a difference. I'm not using my throat. I'm using my solar plexus. So my throat doesn't get sore from all my loud noises. But anyway, that's another thing. Anyway, so you expel all of your energy and you do absolutely no damage. Like, absolutely no damage. You think you're doing a lot of damage because you're pumping a lot of weight, but what you're doing is you've just thrown all of your energy, and when you can barely lift up your arms, the other person's just like, and you're out. And that's not a joke. That's the difference between youth and experience. The young guy might be physically stronger, but he can't use his body for shit. Meanwhile, the old guys that have been doing it for thousands of hours are so efficient at using their body that they use next to no energy and generate force efficiently and then just take you out. On top of the whole body mechanics and technique and everything, they just know how to do it. It's simple as that. He thinks he's unstoppable because he has Titan powers. See, that is the audacity of youth. You think because you're young and you've got big muscles that you can kick everyone's butt. No. No. Those big muscles are actually a liability if you don't know how to use them. Because if you hit a muscle and it tenses, the vein in it can pop. And if it pops, you get internal bleeding and it hurts like a bitch. Because it's an unconditioned muscle that's never been tested. However, if your muscle has been conditioned and hit so many times, it will not tense up like that. You could hit it with a hammer and it won't tense. Whereas if you're a newbie that just lifts weights and bangs on drums like a gorilla, one good hit to that muscle, it's going to tense up and you won't be able to move the arm, and it's going to feel like someone's just stabbed it. And you're going to be wallowing in pain because you don't know how to deal with it. That's the difference between audacity and experience. And Eren's just, like, I'm telling you now, he's going to get floored. And it's going to be embarrassing. He's going to be like a flaying fish out of water. He is fucked. She could even be injured. She doesn't even need her arms. He's about to get freezed. He's like Goku pre-Super Saiyan, and she's like Frieza. She's just going to knock him around. Watch. I'm telling you now. There's no chance in hell he's going to win this fight. Still love how Logan's fans insisted he had flawed brain. Well, here's the thing. To be a Logan fan, you have to be missing a few chromosomes and have next to no brain cells. Because that's the entry level of being a Logan fan. You have to literally be, I mean, technically, you shouldn't be operating a motor vehicle. Like, you don't have the brain capacity to understand how it works. Front kicked in the gut. I'm sorry, where did you get that stance? Did you watch some sort of Russian fighters do that? Because, yeah, nah. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What's your leg doing? What, it's pointed that way? What, your enemy's this tree? How are you supposed to move when your leg's pointed that way? You've got no weight on your front. You can't go forward, you can't go back. Like, what is this stance? What shitty crap is this? Like, this is nothing but openings. You can't even block in this stance, much less strike. Like, whatever. He learned hand-to-hand combat during his training. This is what he's learned? This. Excuse me. See, she's as shocked as I am. She's like, the fuck is this? I'm with you on that one. I hate to say it, but I'm with Karen on this one. Alright, at least he has one fist done properly. What I noticed some people doing is like fucking this. The fist is like this. The thumb's sticking out here. And I'm just like, do you know what's going to happen if that gets caught somewhere and gets like this and then dislocated? You're going to be in a world of pain. They're like, shut up, I know what I'm doing. I'm like, no. You tuck that motherfucker in there. Because this is what's actually keeping your fist closed. You actually close it from the bottom, and this keeps it in. If you're doing this, like, your whole fist is... that's why boxers that are actually holding things in here, when they actually punch a person on the street, they break their hands because they're used to having a hole. There's supposed to be nothing here. Wow, he's swinging wild. And she's stalling for time. She's just stalling to recover her body. I mean, he's got force, but it's all upper body force. He's not using his legs. Because his legs, from what I've seen, his legs are not turning with the strike. Watch. Watch. He's doing the swing with the body. Where's the leg power? There's no leg power. So that shot looks like it did a lot of damage, but he didn't. That didn't hit her. That pushed her. There's a difference between this and this. Huge difference. Yeah, I'm with him on this one. Okay, wait. Did he just put his guard up? No. He put it here. No. Here. You guard your jaw, you guard the front, and you can use it. You don't put it here. What the fuck are you guarding? He's off balance. Look at him. He's just throwing his upper body around. Look at his leg action. There's no leg action. He's already extended his foot before the strike's even gone, which means all of his weight is already there, and what's left is the arm. What you're supposed to do is have your leg go and your arm go with it, and then at the point of impact, everything's supposed to finish the turn and the twist. That's when you channel all the weight from the ground through your leg to your torso. Your hip does the turn, your torso does the turn, your whole shoulder does the turn, and then all the momentum is in your arm to do the punch. Your whole body's generating momentum in your fist. The momentum's already generated here, and he's now swinging this thing. So the whole action is just his arm. So you tell me what does more damage, your entire body's momentum or your shoulder action? So he can throw her around, but it's not going to hit him. It's not going to hit her. And he just You're embarrassing yourself. Most inexperienced people would be like, oh my god, he's so powerful. No, what's actually happening, she's going like, is this it? She's actually recovering damage. She's not taking damage. She's recovering. While he's damaging himself. And he thinks he's winning. This is going to be fun to watch. I can think of a half dozen ways how she can get out of this scenario with the way he's sitting. But, you know, what would I know about basic ground combat? Like, what are you doing? What are you, on top? What is she, a power bottom? Like, what are you doing here? Are you fighting or are you making love? Why is your knee not in her chest? What is this? You know what? You have to give her credit. She's just sitting there and waiting for him to finish thinking about what he's doing. Yeah, just keep fucking drooling all over her. That is definitely, yeah, you're winning this one, Logan. You are definitely winning this screaming contest because for once Karen has not said anything. I mean, apart from the fact that she's recovering, but like, yeah, you are definitely winning this one, Logan. I am absolutely shocked that she hasn't punched him a few times in the kidneys or, like, damn. Yeah, when that hand heals, you're gonna finish jacking yourself off again until you get rope burn. Jesus fucking Christ. And her eyes back. And he's going down. Good use of the knee, right on the middle. She turns on the side. Guess who's going to be on the bottom now? Do you even kick, bro? Oof! Oof! Boom! Boom! Right on the jaw. That is a knockout hit right there. He's going for this massive swing. By the way, massive swings are the worst thing in the world. Massive swing, telegraphing that he's about to, and she's just like, bam! No, wait, her right arm's here. Yeah, she is. Look what she's doing. She's doing this. I mean, I would never do it this way. I would do it this way, but whatever. She's doing this, and then she's punching him. So she's defensively blocking her face and cracking him across the jaw. She's a boxer. That's boxing. We would never do this. We would be here. She's doing this. This is a very... You know when boxers have those big gloves? They always use the gloves. They use them like this. They like when a boxer's getting hit, he literally grabs like this, right? He's protecting his jaws, he's protecting his temple, he's protecting his face, and he's like this. And the other guy's like punching him and doing all this shit. He's like, I'm doing damage. You ain't doing fucking shit. You ain't doing shit. Like, part of my training when I was going to the world tournament, at the end of every training session, I'd grab the biggest guy in the dojo. You're beating me up for 3 minutes. I would sit like this with my guard, and I'm like, I want you to wail on me with everything you've got. 3 minutes, then we'll take a break, then another 3 minutes of him punching me, kicking me, everything. Why? Because you don't want your arms and your legs being the thing that get you taken out. You don't want to be thinking about that. You just need to protect your jaw. You need to protect your balls, obviously. You need to protect your kidneys, your lungs, little bits and pieces like that. But you don't want to be thinking about your arms, your legs. And no, that stuff's going to be hard as rock. You need to be able to take a hit and just protect your vital parts. But she's using this. Oh my God. He's fucked. He's beyond fucked. And then she just closed it. Did you see that? Did you fucking see that? Did you see that? There, we caught it. He didn't even land the hit. She blocked it. He didn't even land the hit. He lost his fucking jaw and didn't even get a hit out of it. She's taken no damage. She's recovering. He thinks he's winning. He's not. Yeah, she landed on her butt. Whoop-de-fucking-do. And he just need a fucking tree. I mean, yes, you're using your knee, thank you. But why are you kneeing someone that... I mean, at least you were going for where her head was. Yeah, he's gone. He's tired. He's gone. Oh, he's fucked. He's fucked. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna run. Wait a minute. He's out of gas. Yeah, nice work, Logan. You climaxed in 30 seconds and you did absolutely nothing. She's not even warmed up. Mate. Mate, sometimes coming second is what gentlemen do. If you could hold a relationship, you'd know that. Does he actually realize how fucked he is? Does he realize how fucked he is? Does he even realize how fucked he is? He doesn't realize, does he? You just got one-shotted! That is beyond pathetic. Ew. 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 So how does it work with Titans? Do you inherit their strength if you eat them? Or is she like doing it for safekeeping? Like how does it work? Was that like a rescue mission or did she want to take his power for her own? That's something that I'm going to want to find out. But he got fucked. That was a technical knockout. She did 2 attacks that entire fight. One took out his jaw, the other one decapitated him while taking out a tree. And she blocked pretty much all of his attacks. She dodged a bunch of his attacks. She blocked the other ones. So she dodged what she could. She blocked what she couldn't dodge. So you dodge, you block. Well, technically it's counter dodge block, but she dominated. Fucking hell. That was embarrassing to watch. I'm sorry. And if you tell me, oh, he has some military training. If that's the military training that they're getting, no wonder the Titans are winning. That's all I'm saying. If this is the Survey Corps, where they're not able to think by themselves and make calls without getting an order, no wonder the Titans are winning. And the Titans are fucking mindless hordes of zombies at this point. No wonder the Titans are winning. All I see is a bunch of kids riddled with fear that don't know what to do, that are literally pissing themselves. Don't get me wrong, it is absolutely terrifying if a bunch of giants were going around eating people. 100%, I do not argue with that. It is fucking terrifying. I don't like the idea of being eaten alive either. But if you're outside the city walls, you better fucking know your shit. Especially if you encounter a Titan, because you're in the wrong place if you can't, get past that fear. I mean, shit. What were you expecting? A picnic? And look at the way she's running. She's using fuck all energy. She's jogging. She is literally jogging. She's literally jogging. What the fuck's going on here? Why are your eyes going all doodly and shit? I'm wondering if that hardening ice ability has a cooldown. Because that would have been the easy one to use, but she's not using it. I'm curious now. Oh! Got your nose! So Mikasa did more damage to this Karen Titan than the entire unit did. Wow. Okay, she's used it now. She's got two disadvantages. One, she's got one, two, I count three, four blades left, and a gas canister. The Titan can take multiple hits. She can take one, maybe two, if she doesn't break anything. A good matchup, but she's severely disadvantaged. Plus, stamina is a huge factor. Plus, she's emotional, not rational. A good fighter never gets emotional. They might fake being emotional, but they never get emotional. Because, they're dead on the inside, like Levi. He's seen some shit. He's clever. I gotta give it to him. He's clever. He knows how to use his head. He's had, what, 3, 4 of his close comrades slaughtered, but he's still keeping his cool, and he knows that now's not the time. Of course! Now they're cucking me with the bloody nut. You can definitely, at a glance, tell the difference between the experience of these people. And I'm not saying kill count. Fuck kill count. Fuck kill count. I don't care. You can have 50 confirmed kills. I'm not impressed by that. I'm impressed by the guy that spent 3 days and nights crawling through the jungle for 2 kilometers to take out a commanding officer of the opposing faction and then crawled 2 kilometers back. I'm more impressed by that than I am by 50 confirmed kills. Anyone can fucking randomly spray and pray and get a few kills. I don't give a shit about that. I want decisive victories, decisive hits. And unfortunately, that's something you only get through experience. I'm not having a go at Eren going like, oh man, you shit, bro. No, kid's got potential. I'm just having a go at him because he seems to be on his period every day. Because every second he's like, I'm a fighter. I'm a fighter. Man, someone should have just bloody kicked his ass to prove the point that he thinks he's top shit, but he's not. Like, someone's got to beat the shit out of him to put him in his place. And that would be humbling because he'd wake the fuck up and he'd stop thinking, oh, I'm going to go solo this Titan. And he'd wake up to the reality of, hang on, I can't solo this Titan. I need to use my head and use my team. Because at the moment, he's not fighting with his team. He's not working with his team. He's like, I'ma fucking handle this. I'ma fucking handle this. I'm a fucking pro tag. I got this. No, you don't got this. If you had this, that'd be incorporated into the strategy. Because remember the last time you said you got this? You almost killed Mikasa or Misaka or whatever the fuck. Like, you almost killed your own team. So no, you ain't got this. You couldn't even control your transformation and, you fucking went nuts over a spoon. Like, calm your tits. You ain't got this. And I feel like most of the survey calls are like 80% of new people, not people with experience. Look, it's a profession where people die a lot. And you're always going to have a significant number of new people. And you're probably not even going to acknowledge the people until you get that first or second wave of, what do we call it? Culling. Right? Whenever we, and this is not military, this is just like martial arts, but we would every semester get like 80 people joining. We'd get 80 recruits. We would sometimes get 120 if I would really push, the marketing. But we would get, say, 80 recruits. And they'd be like, fuck yeah, we got 80 recruits. And I'm like, you'll be lucky to get 10. And like, what are you talking about? 80 people signed up. They're all enthusiastic. They bought the uniforms. They bought the stuff. They're so jumping. And I'm like, Nah, I'm like, give it 3 weeks, give it 4 weeks, give it 2 weeks, you'll lose half of them. 4 weeks, the rest will drift. And they're like, we got to get them back. It's like, no, I don't give a shit about those ones. I want the ones that are gonna stay without me doing shit. They're like, oh, but this guy's enthusiastic, this guy's strong, this guy this. I'm like, man, I don't give a shit. I don't even remember people's names for the first 3 months. Because I don't even register you as being present. Because one guy's going to quit as soon as he realizes he has to follow a training regimen. The other guy's going to quit as soon as he finds out that he's not top shit. And the third guy's going to quit because he's going to realize that, hang on a minute, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. So fuck that shit. The ones that stay are there for something. And from that, you weed out, what are they there for? What's your motivation for being here? Like, why are you here? Some guys are going to be there for fitness. Some guys are going to be there because they're interested. Some guys are going to be there because they've watched too much Naruto. We've had a lot of that. You wouldn't even imagine. Some of them are there because they've watched too much Bleach. And some of them are over there because they're trying to pick up girls. Let's be honest. And I'm just like, cool. I can work with that. I mean, you can work with that. But the guys that are just there because they don't know what they're doing, or they're just there for the shits and giggles, or they were bored, man, they're going to disappear. Is it physically possible to watch too much Naruto? Yes! Remember that story of that person that ran to the bus with that whole Naruto thing? I'm like, what the fuck? I had to have a serious talk with people. Like, we had this one batch, and one of the people literally, like, raised their hand. It was the group out of 80. And unfortunately, like, I was one of the first people when we started up our Kendo dojo at the university. And being one of the OGs, eventually after a few grades and a few tournaments, we were sort of charged with looking after the little ones. And I'm like, I don't want to look after the little ones, I want to train. It's like, well, you want to be, a higher rank one day, don't you? I'm like, no, I just want to fight people. And it's like, but you're going to want to be a sensei one day. I'm like, no, I just want to fight people. Well, too bad, you're looking after the kids. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever the fuck. Anyways, I was looking after the batch of newbies, and there was like 60 of them at this time. Like I said, the numbers keep going down. And I was like, all right, cool. Let's do these, entry drills, warming up, just basic strikes, basic movement. And, one by one, we'll have a few shots, hitting each other in full armor. So at the beginning, you train with no armor. And after you finish your first semester of 3 months, you order your armor in, and, then you slowly start fighting. But I would be nice, and I'd put on my armor, and I'd let them hit me. And the beginners always like to hit as hard as they can, but, like, you get used to it after a while. A couple of people had their wrists broken and stuff. But, like, I don't know, you can hit me as hard as you want, I don't care. Anyways, and a few people were like, so can you teach me how to concentrate my chakra? And I'm like, what? And it's like, yeah, like, how do you focus your chakra? And I'm like, are you being serious right now? And it's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. And I had to have a serious one-on-one talk. Literally, to be like, look, there's no such thing. I was literally like, look, there's no such thing. It's like, but how are the old guys, like, so powerful? And I'm like, all right, I gotta teach you about body mechanics and how muscle efficiency works. And they're like, but how are you so durable? You take hits like they're nothing. Your spiritual pressure must be like, look, listen here, motherfucker. Fucking listen here and listen here good. There's only one fucking way that's gonna happen. And that's gonna be months and months of getting your ass beat. And getting bruises and all this other shit. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So, I've been there. So yes, to answer your question, how old was this person? 18, 19? They were usually first or second year university students, adults. But I still consider them kids because, well, let's face it, they were basically kids. And so you can imagine by the end of this, the end of the first semester, in the second semester, Unigames is coming up. And we can only get an opens team of 5 and a Q team of 5. But given that we don't have any Dans, which is the equivalent of black belts, we had to incorporate our Q team into the Dan team. And in the first, second, third year, we were fortunate because I was part of the new batch and I was a newbie. So we were getting carried by one guy. He was a Dan. So he was really good. He's been practicing since he was like 10, 12. So he would floor us. He's on the Australian national team now, so he would floor us. So he was literally carrying us. We had this other guy. He was this guy that was practicing since he was like 12. He was short, but he was quick like fuck. He was like Yoda, right? He would wipe the floor with you because he's been doing it since he was 12. So we had these two guys that were basically carrying the team. And so we had us, which were basically like 4 or 5 beginners. 3 of us would basically be on the team, and the other 1 or 2 would be reserves. And we would swap in and out depending on what the matchup was and whether or not someone was injured. So we had different people. One of my mates who started the same time I did, he did ninjutsu and kickboxing. So he was a good technical fighter. Me, I came more from a karate background and being beaten the shit out of at home. So I was a very good defensive fighter. I was basically the person you call in if I need to hold a point. Whatever you do, I will not drop my guard. If I have to sit there and be beaten for 5 minutes, so be it, but I will not let you score a point. So I was that, defensive fighter. Then we had another guy that was a little more technical, another guy that was a little more, So we basically did matchups to counter the enemy team, which is how we won. We had to play smart because we didn't have the numbers. And then you had other universities that had like 40, 50 people, like, Sydney University and UNSW. So they had like bigger pool of people to work with. So they could, they had their pick of the litter, but we had to be smart with what we had. So after a few years, people graduated, meaning that they couldn't compete. They were still part of the dojo. They could still do the training sessions. Fortunately, I did 2 degrees, which means I had to study for an extra year because I had an extra degree. I did 2 degrees at the same time. And because my final subject kept getting cancelled because the university switched from 2 semesters to 3 semesters and shit happened, I ended up going part-time for 1 year while I was working 2 jobs. So I'm working full-time while studying part-time, which made me eligible to still compete for Unigames. So I'm a part of the Unigames team, a bit more of a veteran, and 1 year we had nothing but beginners. I'm talking fresh out of high school, watching anime 40 hours a week, beginners. We're talking these kids have never broken a nail. And I need to get these guys and girls, because there was a female team, ready to verse people that have been doing martial arts for like a decade. A lot of them cried. A lot of them quit. And probably a lot of them will hate me to this day. But out of that batch of beginners, demons were born. Typical warm-up sessions were like, do 20 sword strikes. Do 100. But my arms are tired. I don't give a fuck. Do 100. Then 100 of that one. All the techniques 100. By the end, they were doing 1,000. It's called Haisaburi, which is the equivalent of, the moving forward action, moving back, striking while you're moving forward and back. It's almost like a jump. Part of the grading regimen is that you have to do it as part of the grading because it shows off your balance, it shows off your technique, it shows off that you know how to use the momentum of the shinai, and it's very easy to spot if someone's technique was incorrect. By the end, I had them doing 1,000 in sync with a ki at every strike. So guess what they did at the start of Unigames as part of warm-up? 100 in sync, do it. The other universities were shitting themselves. Psychological warfare. The entire Unigames, I'm like, if you're walking, I do not want you to move out of the way for someone. I don't give a fuck. Don't look at them in the eyes. Look where you're going. Keep walking straight. If you bump into them, I want them on the ground. Fucking psychological. By the end, they were killers. There was also a little of other things I had to do to get them in the zone, but you get the point. By the end, they were beasts. They were there to kill. And the other teams were like, well, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is going on here? So when it was their time to come up, the other team's all ready, it's all sitting down. We were always late. Late to the party. And they're like, oh, you can't do that, you need to be first. I'm like, trust me, I know what I'm doing. Man, I got scolded badly. And the other team's ready to go, they're all in line. It's like, you guys are going to be disqualified. If you're not there in 90 seconds, you're disqualified. It's like, plenty of time. Adrenaline's pumping. Heart rates are going. I'm like, all right, let's go. In line, in sync, all carrying your armor and your shinai late. So the other team's ready to go. But they're not going to fight when they're ready to fight. No, I don't give a fuck. They're going to fight when we're ready to fight. They're going to work at our pace. Because we're not playing their game. They're playing our game. The match starts long before you bow on. The match started 3 months ago during training. So while people try to level up for a competition, fuck that shit. We've been training beyond that level for the past 3 months. This isn't a competition. This is a vacation. Because at the end of every training session, they had to fight. And I'm not talking, fighting each other, but they had to put on their armor and simulate a competition. So they've been through the bowing on, bowing off process so many times that they didn't even need to check the marker on the floor that their distance was correct. They knew the arena like the back of their minds. They were playing the battlefield. They were positioning themselves. They were controlling that battlefield. That ground was their home. They lived and breathed it for 3 fucking months. Every second day. Tuesdays and Thursdays were hell. Friday, even worse. An hour of non-stop combat. And at the end of it, after they're all finished fighting each other, go fight our sensei, go fight the national team, and go fight me. It's like, you don't get to go home until you've had a Jigeko with sensei, you've had a Jigeko with the senpais, and you've had one with me. And I wouldn't let them finish the fight with me until they scored a point. I don't care how you do it. I don't care if you knock me off balance, you fucking stab me in the neck, you take out my arm. You're scoring that point or you're not leaving this match. We had people quit and I don't fucking care. But the ones that stayed were beasts. So when it came time for them to fight other university students, I didn't have to do shit. Because there's 5 people per team. You need 3 to win. By the time it was my time to fight the team captain, we had already won. And then these beginners went into the Dan division because they dominated the Q division. So they got their gold medal and they went up in the next division, fighting against people that have been doing martial arts for 12 years. And they held their own. They got a silver medal. They lost against members that are now in the Australian national team. Whoop-de-doo. Lost by a single point. Unfortunately, I got put up against because we ended up tying in the finale of the Dan division. And when you tie, you basically have to select a person to do an elimination round where there's unlimited time and the first to score a point wins. I unfortunately got put in to do that. And I was up against the best defensive fighter now in the current Australian national team. And it's like, I have to score a point. I'm not a scoring fighter. I typically fight, wear down my opponents, break them, and then just sweep the floor. This guy was a technical fighter that's been doing it for 12 years. And I had to try to score a point on him. That was fucked. I think it lasted 15 minutes. For 15 minutes we were going at it. And eventually he got the point. And I was like, fuck. And then at the end I just went back and I'm like, I'm sorry, I couldn't land it. I literally went back. I'm like, I'm sorry, I couldn't land it. I fucking gave him everything. 15 minutes. But hey, a bunch of beginners ended up going in. What a regret. Got to fight to see the results. Oh, it was a good fight. It was a good fight. But the point was, that's experience. So yeah, I totally get it. 80% of these guys are new recruits. But fuck, they're cannon fodder. I'm sorry to say it, but in any military, any unit, any sort of competitive or martial thing, whether it's a sports club, a chess club, an anime club, I mean, the newbies, there's going to be a few waves of culling. There's going to be a few people that leave. There's going to be a few people that disappear. That's why I don't even bother remembering people's names for the first 3 months. Like, they're going to disappear. You're not going to have all of them. And this is the first mission. Look how many people died in the first mission. Look how many died. There's probably a 90% casualty rate. Even the veterans are down. And that's the sad reality of it. I mean, I get that a lot of these guys are not prepared for combat, but if that's the case, what the fuck are they doing outside the city walls? I get that they have no volunteers for the Survey Corps because they know that the casualty rate is so high. But, you know what I mean? It's a bit of a chicken egg scenario. Maybe the casualty rate is so high because they're not ready. Because poverty high. Yeah, I know. Well, that's what unfortunately happens. You get conscription in a lot of second and third world countries because, you know, you need the paycheck. And in the US, they even have a program where convicted criminals need to choose between going to prison or military service. And you know what I mean? Like, what? Do you want to be in jail where you can be shanked, or do you want to be in the military where, you know, pray to God that you don't have to go to war? I don't think they're ready for an intelligent Titan. I don't think that the veterans were ready for an intelligent Titan, but I don't think the newbies were ready for Titans full stop, because we saw what they did with the trees. They didn't really do anything. They didn't really take a quick, easy, low-risk kill. And it's that frame of mind of, oh, I'm not going to engage because I don't want the 1% chance of me getting injured to happen, as opposed to, shit, I have the opportunity to take down an enemy combatant that might down the road later take out a few of our comrades. They are not thinking that way. They don't have that frame of thought. Their mind is still that of a civilian. It's still the me, not the we. That's what's lacking. The veterans have that because they have that solidarity. They've bled together, they've pissed themselves together, you know, they've done all that. But the newbies are still the me. There's no we. And it doesn't help that there's a potential traitor amongst the flock, because automatically that's created a distance between the veterans and the newbies, because the veterans can't communicate with the newbies because they can't trust them. The newbies feel ostracized because they can't connect with the veterans. The chain of command is not giving the information, so no one knows what they're fighting for or what they're doing. They're being kept in the dark, which is why they're divided and conquered so easily. And as soon as something doesn't go according to plan, they panic. There's no coordination. Now, I totally get the scenario. I totally get that this is an extreme, post-apocalyptic, desperate scenario. I completely get it. And a lot of these people are technically kids, right? Like, some of these people are probably 16. And you don't develop those critical ways of thinking until you're much older. I get it. At the same time, the body count's going to get a lot higher if they keep throwing people like this at the Titans. I take military too. Here in Germany, we actually had a law where every school graduate was obliged to serve a year. You couldn't run. You had to. It was abolished a few years back. Well, I was actually planning to do my military service back in Yugoslavia, in Serbia. No, Yugoslavia no longer exists. But you're going to laugh at this. They won't actually take me because I've spent too long overseas. I'm high threat. They won't teach me. They won't train me. I'm considered a threat because I could be a spy. I mean, I was originally going to go into the military, but for one reason or another, I didn't because, you know, my family had a situation. I had to do something and take care of the family and do all that sort of stuff. So I put that on the wayside. But you want the right people for the job. You don't just want randoms. That's just cannon fodder. The days are gone when you need 100,000 people to form a shield wall and slowly start marching across the field. That's not warfare anymore. It's no longer that. Warfare now is planes moving at kilometers every few seconds and a very small group of soldiers being dropped under the radar, infiltrating the enemy base and, taking out a strategic key target or something. It's no longer numbers. It's about utility and quality. Man, one good soldier is worth 100 recruits. Don't even get me started on that. And these guys are just a bunch of recruits. They're a bunch of kids, lambs to the literal slaughter. And that's what happened in this mission. It was a literal slaughter. I actually enjoyed that law. If you refused, the army would knock out your door and would be convince you to serve. Like taking vital organs out of a country. Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. Some people have the stomach and the mindset for military service, and some people do not. The whole point is you're supposed to figure out very quickly, and this should be done during the application process, figure out whether or not the person is suited for the military. Same thing when it comes to surgeons or doctors. You need to identify very quickly whether or not the person can keep their cool and stop their hands from shaking when they have a scalpel and the guy's chest is exposed open and the organs are out. You don't want the guy fainting from looking at blood and figuring out at the end of a 6 or 7 year medical degree that the guy can't stand blood. You're supposed to be figuring that out much earlier. Same thing when it comes to the guy with a rifle. You need to figure out very quickly whether or not he can look at a person and take a human life. Because let me tell you this, a majority of the lives that were lost during World War I and II, as well as Vietnam and all these other conflicts, was not because that the war was resulting in one person killing another. It was actually the opposite. A very few number of people could take another human life, which prolonged the war. And the ones that were doing the killing, their kill counts were through the roof. Double, triple digits. Whereas the rest of them couldn't even do one. One of their comrades would get shot and their first instinct was, let me go help them. Bam, another guy's got done. You had German snipers that would literally shoot people in the leg to draw out the rest of their comrades so they could pick them off. They were hunters. Except they were hunting humans, not animals. That's the difference. You need to figure that out very quickly. Which is why a lot of the best snipers are actually from people that work the land. Because they know how to hunt. They know how to track. They know how to think. They're tactical. They've lived on the land. They're raw. They're rough. They're rugged. They know how to survive on their own. You know, they're not going to shit themselves when someone pulls a knife. They've been watching animals getting their necks cut and pigs screaming like children since they were 6. They've smelt it. They know it. They don't panic. We really need you to react to Taya Saga of Evil when we have a chance to vote in because of the mindset you have, Kuma. Just like Rambo. Rambo is very Hollywoodized. I haven't really watched it, but I know what it sort of does. It's a very Hollywood version. I've met a lot of people from the military. I know people from the military. I even have a war criminal in the family. And I know how their mindset works. And it's surprisingly scary how simple for them it is. Like to them, yeah, it's quite fascinating. It's quite fascinating. Like one of our sensei's sons is actually in the Australian Special Forces. I met him once. There was literally this guy in the dojo, a few years older than me, and it was built like a rock. And we were doing sparring, and I noticed that every time he was doing something, he was just using my body mechanics against me. He wouldn't just kick my leg, but he'd kick it in such a way that it would twist my hip and throw my weight off, which literally, if he followed it up, I'd be on the floor. And after that, I was like, what do you train? You know, I was just like curious, like, what do you train? It's like, oh, not from around here. And I was, trying to do that, that intelligence gathering. It's a friendly chit chat, but I'm scoping out the guy. And I found out very quickly he wouldn't really give me details about where he works. And so, it could either be one or two things. You could either be in the government or in the military. So I scoped out a little further and he wouldn't tell me. And then I found out he was the son of one of our senseis. And I was drinking with the sensei and he was like, yeah, my son's in the special forces. I'm like, he wouldn't happen to be that kid that was in the dojo 2-3 weeks ago. And he just gave me this look and he's like, how'd you figure it out? And I told him how. And he's like, yeah, well, he's got a talent and his talent seems to be killing. And I'm like, well, I'd buy him a drink because I'd sleep a lot better at night knowing he's protecting us. Bull Allen. Who's Bull Allen? Look at the Italian rations these days. I'm surprised the soldiers don't come home putting on weight. I agree, since parts of the Isekai quadrant, we need him to watch all 4. Jesus. Well, you guys have to actually vote on the anime, so pick your choices carefully. Don't just randomly vote something in. Vote something in that's good, that's gonna not only give you a reaction, but inspire some discussions, because I love this shit. But at the same time, mate, like, this is... Look, I'll be honest. It's probably what they were going for. Looking at this... Whoops, sorry. What the fuck happened here? Oh, that's good. Going with how this season has been panning out so far, it's safe to say this gets the message across. They had the first few episodes which really showcased how vulnerable and defenseless humanity is. Then they showcased what happens when shit goes sideways. And if I can show you guys when shit goes sideways, you've got the rich and the powerful that care about themselves. And then you've got, the power of friendship. All your friends are fucking dead. You've got a good leader in the military that's willing to take a chance. Decisive victories. Then you've got the political landscape of war, which is, keeping people in line and preventing panic. And then we're seeing the adventures of the scouting corps, which is really out there. And they introduced these members as high tier. They effectively put them on a pedestal. They put Levi on the pedestal, but they put everyone else on the pedestal. The first time bloody Jaeger sees them, he's talking about their number of confirmed kills. And they're all in the few dozens. So all these people are impressive. They're on a pedestal. Then they showcased Karen Titan as a sentient, intelligent Titan that's far more dangerous than a regular Titan. But they really showcased this by literally slaughtering these people that they very recently put on a pedestal. And then Jaeger becomes a Titan who previously took out all the normal Titans and further cemented the fact that she's dangerous and highly effective by having her floor Jaeger in 2 hits after having dodged and defended his entire onslaught. What they're really showcasing is the degree of which humanity is fucked, because this is the best that humanity has, and they were taken out by a lone Titan. And she's not even the armored Titan that did the Tsukarashbi at the front gate, or the giant Titan that, I can only assume that the giant Titan could fuck shit up given his relative size. Right? So, how fucked is humanity? Their hope is Jaeger, who just got his butt kicked in 2 hits. Let's be real here. All jokes aside, and complaints aside, if this is what they were going for, it's very well thought out. Because it gives you that vibe of, yeah, here are the pro tags. Here's the OG crew. They're gonna kick butt and take names. Yeah, that's not how life works. Life is gonna punch you in the teeth. And it just did. How many of the new characters are still alive? Probably less than half. And they were veterans. So yeah. So, 21. Karen vs. Carven. No, Karen. Who the hell is Carven? vs. a god plus discussion. I like it. Overlord starting at 8, guys. Wait, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, Overlord starts at 8, so there's still an hour. So far, this shit's good. But we got another, 4 episodes. The next 4 episodes are probably going to be decisive, because they've shown off the strength of the Titans. Now they gotta amp it up, because this is one fucking Titan. Up until this point, the Titans have not been coordinated. This was fucking coordinated. And that's one Titan. They are so fucked if there's more than a dozen Titans that are intelligent. Because a single one has just taken out their scout corps and survived an ambush. And defended itself from their best fighters. If they have a dozen Titans of the same or better caliber, humanity is beyond fucked. So, when people ask what are my thoughts on Attack on Titan, those are my thoughts. It's a good anime. And I think some people misinterpret when I scold characters as scolding the writers of the anime. That's not what I'm doing. I'm scolding the character. And just because I scold a character doesn't mean I dislike a character. It just means I dislike what the character is doing. There's a huge difference. So by me giving Jaeger shit, I'm not saying that he is shit. I'm saying what he's doing is shit. And that's been confirmed by him getting his ass handed to him in 2 hits. So the sacrifice of the 3 people that went back to buy him time is meaningless because he did a 180-degree turn, went back, got his ass kicked, and Karen achieved her objective of getting him. He handed himself on a silver platter while demonstrating that he's a fucking dumbass. Because, you know, he went from, I trust my team and the mission, to, fuck this shit, I'm gonna fuck shit up on my own. I'm sorry, but he fucked up. That's on him, not me. Because he had 2 episodes of showing that he's a team player, because they all bit themselves for him, that he's on their side and he trusts them, and he does a 180 turn. They died for nothing. In a nutshell. The sacrifice was in vain. Those are my thoughts up until now. Alright, quick 3-minute break, and we watch some more Attack on Titan. And that doesn't mean I dislike the show. I like the show. But that's my thoughts on the show so far. That's me criticizing Jaeger, not criticizing the show. You gotta take your emotion out of this. Criticism doesn't mean I dislike something. It means I'm being critical of it, which means I'm paying attention. If you want me just to wow and do facial expressions, you'll get that if it's worthy of that, but you're also going to get a little bit of thinking and discussion. So quick 3-minute break. Let's jump into it, and let's see what humanity's going to do with their hunter. You are literally the only person I see refer to Jaeger as Jaeger. Well, Jaeger means hunter, and it's a fucking cool name. So he's fucking Jaeger, alright? I mean, if I had the name Hunter, I'd call myself Hunter too. Not like the other Hunter with the laptop diddling his niece and doing meth and, you know, leaving his gun across the street from a school, which is a federal crime, after lying on a gun application form. But, you know. Hey, he's got the same name as Fox. Jaeger. It's a fucking cool name. Frank Jaeger's the shit.
Hey, did I hand you a shrinking potion by accident? I could have sworn that was the gender swapping one.
Don't be hating. She's fun sized, that's all. She doesn't even have to get on her knees to blow.
You want to add anything to that conversation?
Nope, I'm good. In fact, I think your new size makes you an even more formidable and stealthy ninja.